Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Having threatened to take the UK government to court over the Section 35 banning of the Gender Reform Bill, Humza Yousaf has made good on his word. He has announced he is taking them to court. Now, we did a video yesterday, when we demanded that he should release the legal advice he's received, because it will be undoubtedly showing that he has got very little chance of winning. And so this is not because he particularly believes in it. It's not because it's important to him. It's simply he has to make it be shown that he's willing to do it to keep the Greens on board. But he isn't going to win. So now he has lit the blue touch paper, and I hope he is retreating to a safe distance, because when this particular firework goes off, it will be quite spectacular. Spectacular in terms of the fallout of the failure that he will once again suffer, and also at the expense for the Scottish taxpayer who will be funding this stupidity. And he still hasn't released the legal advice. So we'll take a look at this report and find out why the hell he's doing it, even though he knows he cannot win. Here goes. So Humza Yousaf headed for legal showdown with the UK government over the gender bill. And despite the gender reforms being unpopular among Scots and rejected by the UK Conservative government and the UK Labour Party, the Scottish government will be pushing ahead with its legal clash. And we have to ask, why is he spending public money to do this on a case he cannot win? Why is the taxpayer being forced for the paying for this folly of this SNP government? Now, we know full well why. It's because this government is scared of the Greens, because it knows if it doesn't push this stupidity, this awfulness in fact, if it doesn't push for the endangerment of women, they'll lose the support of the Greens. Personally, I would stand on my moral courage and say to the Greens, no, it's wrong, and if you don't like it, please leave government and we'll remove you from all aspects of power. But that, of course, requires a backbone, requires balls of steel. These are both things that man, lacks terribly. He's got neither. So anyway, getting down into it. The Scottish Government is to launch a legal challenge to Westminster's bloc on its controversial gender reforms. Well, of course they are. The proposals which would allow people in Scotland to self-identify their sex, that's not true. That is absolutely not true. Only their gender. You cannot change your sex. They were passed by the Scottish Parliament in December last year, but its popularity has tanked among Scots. No one wants it. It is 99% unpopular. 99% of Scots wouldn't have it. If they were so convinced it was right, they'd go and have a referendum. Why haven't they had the referendum? I think we know the answer to that one, don't we? They know they'd lose. Anyway, the UK government used a Section 35 order to block the legislation, citing an adverse potential impact on UK-wide equality laws. The move has been condemned as undemocratic, despite its inclusion in a democratically agreed devolution agreement. They agreed to this rule being in place, and now they don't like the rule that they agreed to. It seems very undemocratic to fight it. And if they so think that this is such a good idea, don't let them fight it in court. Let them go to the people, let them make a case for it, and let them ask the people if they want it. And if it's truly good, and they've truly got a great argument as to why it should be in place, let them tell us why. But then ask them questions like, why do they want to remove safe spaces for women? Why do they want to force men into women's spaces? Why do they want women to participate in sports against men and risk injury and worse? Why? Why? These are the questions that nobody is asking. And it's the sort of question that he should be asking, but he's not. He's too busy kissing the arse of the Greens. First Minister Humza Yousaf said it was an undemocratic veto, but the leadership campaign revealed his party is not entirely behind him. Not entirely behind him, not remotely behind him. Kate Forbes, who received just under half the vote, said she would not have argued with the UK government. And the other candidate, Ash Regan, resigned from the government last year over her fears about their impact on safeguards for women and girls, and a growing backbench rebellion has formed in Holyrood. And it's another one of those things that's going to bring him down, and hopefully very quickly. The very fact he's willing to waste millions of pounds on this case that he will undoubtedly have had legal advice on, and that, I guarantee that legal advice will say you've got very little chance of winning it, and he won't publish the legal advice despite his people requesting it, because he's saying, oh, it's an ongoing matter. Well, fine, let's have it as an ongoing matter. If the legal advice says, oh, you've got a good chance of winning it, then publish it. You've got nothing to fear. But if it says you haven't, then why are you going ahead with it? Why are you wasting money that could be used in the NHS or in social care or in the environment, whatever? Money that could be used elsewhere, and you're wasting it and giving it to already rich lawyers to fight a case that you cannot win. I think they should hold you personally liable for any costs if you're pushing this case against advice, and that's all it takes, isn't it? If you say to these politicians that if the legal advice is not to do it and you choose to do it, then you are liable for costs. They'll soon change their mind then. Responding to the Scottish Government's confirmation that they will lodge a petition for judicial review, the Secretary of State for Scotland, Alistair Jack, said the UK Government will robustly defend the decision to prevent the Scottish Government's Gender Recognition Reform Bill from becoming law. He said, I made the order under Section 35 of the Scotland Act 1998 after thorough and careful consideration of all the relevant advice and the policy implications. He said, I was very clear in the accompanying statement of reasons how the bill would have an adverse effect on reserved matters, including the operation of the law as it applies to Great Britain-wide equalities protection. And they keep using the term Great Britain. They obviously mean the United Kingdom. Or are they saying that the laws don't apply, in Skye or in the Isle of Wight? It's stupidity. To use the power is entirely within the devolution settlement, he said, as set out from its inception with cross-party support, including the SNP support. And he says there's more to come on this story because it is just sort of breaking right now. At the time of recording, this is 2 o'clock and this was released at 1:10 So this came up reasonably, very short time ago. So there will be more later, presumably. But yeah, he's going to sit there and he's wasting all this money, and yet he won't publish the legal advice. Why not, Humza Yousaf? Why not? I think we know. Anyway, I shall round off and come up. I think it is very odd and very telling that the opposition parties in Scotland, Scottish Labour, Scottish Tories, Scottish Lib Dems, none of them are clamouring for the release of any kind of legal advice that may have been given to Humza Yousaf with regards to this case, because he must undoubtedly have taken legal advice. For him to go to court like this to challenge it without taking legal advice shows a level of incompetence that surely even he would not have. Even he cannot be so inept and stupid as to try and push this without legal advice. And I can guarantee if he's taken legal advice, it'll say no. And so we have to think, why is he pushing it? And like we said, we've already know why. It's because of the Greens. But why is he not publishing that legal advice? Why are they not clamouring for the release of that? And why are the mainstream media in Scotland not asking for this advice to be published? No one in the press, no one in the Fourth Estate is doing their actual job. Is it down to YouTubers like me simply to say release the legal advice? This should be national press screaming out for this. This should be the Scottish Daily Express, the Daily Record, the Herald. All of these newspapers, all of these journalists need to be pushing this, screaming, yelling, give us the advice, tell us the advice, release the advice. Put him on the spot, embarrass him, make him squirm, make them all squirm. I love a squirming politician. And yet none of them are doing it. And you have to say why. Are they all in it? Who knows? Anyway, that's my dog again. You can hear him. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please do hit that subscribe button, ring that bell for notifications, leave a like, definitely leave a comment, and please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, always publish legal advice, and goodbye.